For the aviation sector, we presented 2 memos and got 2 approvals. The first approval that we sought and obtained is in respect of mandatory payments of access fees by all visitors at our federal airport toll gates nationwide. No more exemption. No more exemption. When we came to office, we met a tradition on the ground where at the end of the year, all manners of VIPs would approach us for what they call complimentary ticket, complimentary e-tags, or complimentary stickers, whereby you see them coming into the airports, our airports nationwide. They don't pay the access fees. They don't pay for parking. They don't pay for essential services at the airports. And they are VIPs. And I told myself and my team, I said, not under my watch. It will not happen. If this tradition had been existing for years, I will not allow it to happen. Because it is inconceivable that in our country, it is the VIPs that don't pay for services, but it is the poor men that pay for services. The VIPs who are supposed to have money don't pay for services, but they compel poor men to pay for services. And I said, no. So I got my team together. I said, we need the backing of council to compel everybody. In fact, guess what? Our memo says, with the exception of the president and the vice president. The president overruled me. He said he and the vice president will pay. He said everybody. Let me give you the shocking statistics. Shocking. The negative figure that we get at the end of the day from the complimentary e-tags we get is 82% negative, in the negative. In other words, where we're supposed to have 100% income from these e-tags that we print, it is only 18% that will now end up selling. That is how bad it is. 18%. And 82% of these e-tags are given out free of charge to VIPs. So imagine the loss in my sector. And I asked myself, which other sector will I go to that they give me anything free? Is it because I'm a VIP that you say that in FCT I should not pay land charges, that they will waive it for me? I pay for that sector. I pay my power. I pay for power. Yes? Yes, I pay for every other thing. I pay for information. Yes, I buy my papers. So why would everybody now come to my own sector and want to get free passage? Not possible. That is how bad it is. So, and this has led in the past to loss of billions of naira, not millions, billions of naira annually because of this. And yet, our airport infrastructure, you know they are decaying. I am helpless. I'm looking for concessionaires. I'm looking for help for decaying infrastructure. And they will be the first to cry out, these same VIPs, why are your toilets like this? Why are your toilets smelling? Why can't you do this? Why? They are the same people, but they don't pay for the services. So if we want improved infrastructure at the airport, we must pay for services. I'll give you another example. In one gate alone in Lagos State, one of the access gates, based on the count of the barrier going up and down, you know, it counts like a machine that counts. We are supposed to be making 250 or 60 million from that gate every month. That gate, because of exemptions, the return to us less than 100 million every month. Loss. And that also, of course, breeds corruption too, because now you cannot track, you cannot have the audit trail of those free tags that you now give to our people to give out to people. Either they sell it at half price, because in a year, the ones we sell, yearly tags, at times maybe $1 million or $1 million plus, that gives you access to parking, to access to everything, so nobody will tow your car. So we can't keep an audit trail of these tags that we give out. Some will now go and sell it at half price. Some of the, maybe civil servants or those we give it to give out to people. So there was really no need to continue with this. I can go on and give you the figures, but it has led to massive, massive loss in the past. And luckily, council agreed with us. Mr. President agreed with us, and Mr. President said, remove me from the exception and Vice President. Everybody should pay. So please divide the SGF. It was approved that the SGF should send a system-wide circular to everybody. We are going to also write to everybody, be it in the judiciary, the legislature, the executive, the military, high command. They can buy for their personnel yearly. You don't have to pay for every time you pass. Buy yearly, the yearly tax for all your officers. You have the money, pay us, so that we can improve your services at the airports. Thank you. The second one, we got a second approval. This one is just for infrastructure. The approval for the manufacture, supply, installation, and operators training of disabled aircraft recovery system equipment at our airports. Some of these incidents we have on the runways at times is part of ICAO's specification for your airports to be certified. The International Civil Aviation Organization, the last time they came for audit, it was one of the minors they gave to us, that we don't have enough recovery equipment. So sometimes when you now have the incident, if you remember, something happened at the Abuja airport. Was it in December or January, when there was an airplane that had a problem as it was landing. It now disrupted flight, because we have only one runway in Abuja. It disrupted flight operations in the whole country for about 2 or 3 hours, because flights that were about to take off to Abuja could not come. The ones about to take off, and it was chaos. For 2-3 hours, it was chaos in the whole country that day, because there was no immediate recovery equipment to recover those aircrafts immediately from the tarmac, so that other aircrafts approaching can land. We had to go and beg some other people, some other entities to come and help us remove that aircraft on that day. As Federal Airport, as Aviation and FAN, we didn't have any equipment to remove that aircraft. So we got approval for that as part of ICAO's requirement in the sum of 4.2 billion and a fraction, inclusive of VAT, with a completion period of 12 months to supply and train, and also to train the handlers of these equipments to handle them and remove disabled aircraft from our runways. Now, the first question regarding incidents we have had of late on our runways. Well, it is paradoxical that you're asking me that question as to what are we doing? Why is it paradoxical? Because there are some people out there who say they are industry experts, who are saying the minister has no role to play. The minister should shut up. Experts. Yet, the question comes to me everywhere I go. What are you doing as Aviator 001 in the country? This is the kind of confusion that they create out there, and they want to teach me my job. They want to interpret the law. For me, a member of the INABA, they want to interpret the law for me. So I've told them over and over that if you were experts and so good as experts, why is our industry like this up to this point? People who have no stake, who have no investment in the system, claiming all the while to be experts and teaching, trying to teach people their jobs. So I disagree with them respectfully, and I've said my duty, to answer your question, is to supervise the regulators and ensure they do their work. And that is what I am doing. And that's what I did in the case of Dana. if you have consistent incidents like this coming from a sector and perhaps a particular airline, as minister, you say, can you carry out an audit of this airline in terms of their safety procedures, their maintenance procedures, their personnel training, their financial audits? Carry it out, which is what I did. And this is what I would do, throughout the industry. For any airline showing signs of, kwashoko, financial kwashoko, that is what I am doing to answer your question. And I will continue to do it. And for those who say I'm interfering, I'm sorry. They should sit down and see more interference for the safety and the lives of Nigerians. I will not play politics. I will not sit akimbo, hands akimbo, when the lives of Nigerians are at stake. I said it before, and I'll say it again, that the last thing I want as Minister of Aviation is to have blood on my hands. They said I should be more temperate in my language. How? How? I should not be truthful to Nigerians? Is there anything diplomatic about the lives of Nigerians? Perhaps we have been truthful in the past about audit situation of our airlines. Perhaps we would not have lost some people in the past in those deadly crashes. Our duty, therefore, is to tell the truth, face the truth, and let Nigerians not to hide it from Nigerians. So for me, I will continue to breathe down the back of the regulators. That's what I want to do. For those who are saying they are experts, they should please get ready for the rough ride with me. I'll breathe down the back of the regulators. I will ensure that they do their work. I will not interfere in the sense of directly implementing the measures, but I will interfere in terms of asking questions from the regulators and directing them that they must do their job diligently. The purpose of the law to say the NCA should be regulators and they should be independent, the purpose of that law is to ensure that people don't interfere, to water down, I repeat, to water down regulatory steps and measures they have taken. But the purpose of the law cannot be to stop enforcement of those regulatory measures by the regulatory agencies. In other words, when a minister says, can you enforce your measures? Enforce them to the strictest standards. That cannot be interference. That is supervision to ensure you do your work. I'm not saying, okay, I'll give you an example. You want to turn the NCA into gods of their own? Is that what the law means? That the NCA should be a god unto himself or the head of the NCA? So, for instance, in the face of obvious danger, if an aircraft is supposed to take off with 8 tires, and the head of a regulatory agency says, no, I think 6 tire, 2 is missing, but you can take off. And the supervisor says, no, ensure the 8 tires are complete. Would that be seen as interference? Would that be seen as interference? So if the purpose of supervision is to strengthen your hand to do your job, I'm sorry, I apologize. I disagree with them. That cannot be interference. That is proper supervision. So that's what we are doing. We'll carry out an audit of any airline showing such signs. We have started with Dana. Anyone showing such consistent signs of danger for the purpose of safety of the lives of Nigerians, will we, in quotes, interfere? And they should be ready for that until I leave this office. The other question regarding compliance with the enforcement order, it's very simple. What we will do, first of all, is to sell the e-tags in advance. In fact, you asked a question about our compatriots, the military. We will sell the e-tags to them in advance. So there will be no question of arguments at the gates. But then, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces has taken the lead himself. He said, don't exclude me. Bring the e-tags for my cars, or presidential cars that will pass through those e-gates. I will buy. So if the commander-in-chief has taken that position, he has led by example, who among the military high command will want to disobey? And for your information, We are going to plant cameras everywhere. We have some cameras already. We have, and in these days of social media, you can be sure that, those pictures will go viral. If you touch any of our aviation people at the gates who's just trying to do their jobs, you can be sure that your bosses will discipline you. Because I am sure that the military chiefs will not take it from any of their subordinates who will go beating people up, harassing people who are doing their jobs. They are just carrying out their jobs. So we are ready for the rough ride with anybody at all. We are going to put cameras everywhere. We are going to insist that they take their pictures, take anybody. Don't fight, take the picture of the person. Take it and show everybody. Let it go viral. Bring it to us. Let us report him to his bosses and see where that will land all of us. So we are ready to enforce this in order to maximize our profits, our revenue. So just to make it clear that in respect of this issue, we are not imposing fresh taxes on Nigerians. No. In fact, Nigerians have already been paying for years access to the airports. So it's not a fresh tax. We are only maximizing it. We are optimizing it from people who have not been paying. So this is actually aimed at VIPs who have not been paying, not at the ordinary people who have always paid anyway. I think there's another question.